these guys into prison or into jail. You know, it's an amazing thing about some of the ministries that we have in the life of our church that so many people don't know about. We have a jail ministry here in our church, a prison ministry that we've had for many, many years. And Jon Simone and his wife Jamie in our church are involved in that prison ministry. He's our pastor of prison ministry here at the church. And every Sunday night between 9:30 and 10:30, John calls me every Sunday night without fail and tells me what happened in the jails and prisons that week. And especially on Sunday, when he goes on Sunday. And that particular day, 2 weeks ago, John called me and he said, "Pastor, just want to let you know," he said, "we had an awesome night in prison tonight." He said, we went there, and he said, we were in a lockdown area, and he said, we preached the gospel. And he said, we gave the invitation, and there were either 13 or 16 people that prayed that day in the prison. And he said, when I gave the invitation, he said, we were in a certain lockdown area, he said, where there were some people in isolation. And they could hear us talking, but they couldn't see anything. We couldn't see them, they couldn't see us. But he said, when I gave the invitation, he said, I asked the people, if today you are praying to accept Christ as your Savior, would you just raise your hand? And he said, immediately behind the prison cell bars, several hands started going up. And then he said a strange thing happened. He said from behind the lockup in the isolation unit, he said 2 men's hands came out of the place where they slide the food in, and 2 hands came out. That's all they could get through the bars, but they just wanted him to know that they were praying to accept Christ. But he said, Pastor, that wasn't all. He said the jailer who was in there with us, he also raised his hand and prayed to accept Jesus Christ as his Savior. Now, you know, that's a great thing. And every week we hear reports just like this of the good things that are happening. I think sometimes when the gospel is preached behind prison bars, we think, well, that doesn't count. Sure, they won't help. Sure, those guys need to be saved. But we forget that every one of us has to be saved equally as much as any other person in this world.